Why Alaska? Why not? We're 237 miles west of Anchorage. We're in the middle of nowhere, Bush, Alaska. The only way to get here is by plane. And, well, if you want to get away, that's one of the best ways to get away because there's no cars out here. There's nothing. You might see a boat of a native maybe once a week running the river, but other than that, it's pretty rare that you'll see anybody else here. And here, we fish for sheefish, we fish for char, dollies, grayling, pike, and all 5 species of salmon. So if for some reason salmon run is off, we've got lots of other things to go after. And my favorite is the pike and the sheefish. Pike are massively aggressive, and sheefish just get big and fat. If you like stripping streamers for trout, you'll love stripping streamers for sheefish. And pike, they're aggressive and it's visual. It's within the top foot of the water column and even sometimes right on top of the water. And oh my lord, it's fun. It's exciting to pull a 40, 45, maybe even a 50-inch northern right to the boat with their teeth smiling at you. I love it.
At Alaskan Adventures Lodge, we fish for all 5 species of salmon, char, dollies, grayling. Well, we also fish for sheefish and monster pike. Let's talk a little bit about the pike fishing here for a second. Fishing really kicks off early summer. So if you can make it probably the first week of June, the action is gonna be hot. And what I'm talking about is top water, top water, top water. The river is still pretty high up there, and it's really moved into a lot of the back bays and the oxbow lakes. And when the water really comes up like that, the pike move off of the river system and move up into the timber and up into these oxbow lakes. And I tell you what, they are hungry. They're just coming out of wintertime and they haven't fed that well, that much. And the water's really warming up to the point where, hey, they're hungry and they want to put on the feed bags. And it's not uncommon to throw a fly out there, to throw a big popper out there and have 3 or 4 fish fighting over it. As a matter of fact, a lot of times in the early season, I'll instruct people to cast, and I'm not talking a gentle cast, I'm talking slap that fly on the water surface, make a lot of noise, ring the dinner bell, and be ready because chances are you're gonna see 3 or 4 pike come up, take a look at it, and as soon as you strip it once, game on. How we typically fish for pike, well, your guide, he's gonna run the boat roughly about 20 yards off of a weed bed, either on the river system or in one of the back oxbow lakes. His job is to row roughly 20 yards off of that weed bed and keep it just out of sight of the edge of that weed bed. Your job is to cast as close as you can, if not into that weed bed, either with poppers, big streamers, spoons, spinners, whatever. But cast in there, start bringing it back, and hang on. Because I tell you what, there's some big fish laying in there, and they're gonna grab. There's no doubt in my mind that early summer is the best time to be at the lodge pike fishing. If you're a beginner fly fisherman or somebody that wants to learn how to fly fish, this is also the absolute perfect time to be there. Reason being, well, you let us know that you want to learn how to fly fish. We'll spend some time with you casting, working on casting techniques just to get the fly away from the boat. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your cast can have a lot of mistakes with it. Pike do not care at all. You can make all kinds of mistakes and still be successful and have a lot of fun. And therefore, that's why early season is the best time to be there if you're a beginner fly fisherman or somebody who just wants a lot of hot action. So show up, whether you're a novice or an experienced angler. We'll put you on the fish. It's up to you to hook them and reel them in. As we fish through the month of July, the water level on our river drops. And when the water level on the river drops, all of our oxbow lakes and our backwater sloughs really start to kind of dry up. So the pike move out of those backwaters and onto the river system. So we start to focus more on weed beds on the river system for pike. Now the top water bite just isn't quite what it was a month ago. We're still fishing in the upper water column, just not typically quite right on top. A lot of times we're fishing 2 foot, 3 foot, just under the water surface in really deep water, looking for those really big fish. They're still there. They're hungry. We just can't see them quite as much. This is the time of the year when the salmon really move in. During the month of July, we've got kings, we've got sockeye, we got chum, and in even years we got pinks. And this time of the year, it's not uncommon to catch a northern, a 35-inch northern with a 20 or a 24-inch salmon in its belly. Kind of amazing because it's a big fish for a pike to eat, but they're voracious, they're hungry, and if they can get their lips on it, they're gonna eat it. So, get your fly out there, get your spinner out there, get your spoon out there, and hang on. Fishing around Alaskan Adventures Lodge in the month of August and September. Folks don't normally come in August and September to fish for pike. You're usually there for salmon. And it's not uncommon to hook 50 to 100 some salmon a day. That's pretty darn easy, and there's a lot of salmon to be had. However, the pike are still there. They're in a little deeper water. They're a little bit slower water. And there's some big fat fish. They've been putting the feed bags on all summer long. And they're fat and they're hungry. They're still packing on the pounds. We're getting ready for winter time. We know where the deep holes are. We know where the pigs are laying. So if you want to take a break from catching salmon in the month of August and September, we got plenty of big pike. We know where to find them and what to do. Deep, deep, deep water, big, big baits. That'll hook you a big pig. That's what I'm talking about. So besides all the salmon fishing and the pike fishing, we're getting pretty well known for our sheefish fishing. The Holitna River, which feeds into the Kuskokwim River, is the southernmost drainage that you'll find sheefish. Now, from what science is telling us, our river system is the only river system where they don't just come to spawn, but they come to feed. There is apparently a lot of smolt coming down the river, and the sheefish are there to feed and gorge and gorge and gorge. We have some runs where literally you look down the run and it looks like the run is boiling with fish. So if you're looking for something different and something new, something exotic and something out of the ordinary, sheefish is definitely that. Fishing for sheefish in our river system changes throughout the season. It starts with early season in June and July. Our June and July, well, the fish really load up in our river system.
You know, people ask all the time, well, what is a sheefish? It's actually a relation to the whitefish. But whitefish in the lower 48 and places, well, they eat moss and I don't know what. The sheefish up here chase minnows, they chase eels, lamprey. They're an aggressive feeder. They're an aggressive predator. And down here, if you watch this run, you'll see them jump. They don't rise like a trout and sip stuff off the surface. They don't boil. They come flying out of the water. It's ridiculous.
If you're a fly angler looking to target sheefish on the fly, we'll fish 8, 9 weight rods with a floating line, 10-foot section of T11. We like fishing the floating line with the T11 because if for some reason those fish decide that they are not that deep, we can take that 10-foot section of T11 off and fish in the upper water column. But that sink tip, that 10-foot T11 is able to get us down 5, 6, 7 feet as we strip smolt patterns through the water column. Now these fish, again, generally speaking, hold tight to the bottom and they'll look up and they'll wait for bait to come over. And when that bait's coming over, that's when they bust on it. Now, if we're just over their nose, that's when they want to come after it. If we're too high, they'll ignore it. So if we've got a 10-foot section of T11, we're able to get it right in front of those fish in the deeper holes that we fish. However, sometimes they're in shallower water. as they move through the river system, and I'm talking in the late August, early September, these fish are really moving up, getting ready to spawn. So they're hungry. They're on the feed, they're on the move, they're on the feed, they're on the move. Some of the runs that we fish, 4 foot, 5 foot deep. Some of the runs that we fish, 20 feet deep, 30 feet deep. Wherever we need to find them, we're gonna find them. We're gonna put the fly right on their nose. If you're a gear fisherman and you wanna target them with gear, we typically fish with swim baits, spoons, spinners, anything that flashing that looks like a smolt pattern. They love bait fish. Typically when we're fishing for sheefish, there's not a lot of different techniques that we utilize. I mean, it's pretty simple. Anything that looks like a smolt pattern or a bait fish, anything that can get down in the water column about 5, 6 feet, maybe 8 or 10 feet at the deepest, and anything that looks like it's a wounded bait fish, they're gonna eat it. They're hungry, they're aggressive, they don't have any teeth, they're not like a pike, but oh my God, they just devour whatever you put in front of them. So as the summer progresses, what we fish for sheefish with doesn't change so much as where we fish for sheefish. What I mean is early season, June and July, sheefish are in the bigger, deeper holes. And then as we progress into the month of August, sheefish really start to move through the river system, move up into the spawning grounds, way up into the shallower runs. So instead of fishing for them in the deeper part of the holes, like in the 20 to 30 foot holes, we're fishing for them more in the 5, 6, 10, even up to 3 foot of water. So these are the fish that are moving through the system on their migration, on their journey to go spawn. And well, there's a lot of smoke coming down the river still, and as they're moving up, they're eating. They're not like a salmon. Salmon don't really eat as they go to spawn. It's more of a reactive strike. Now sheefish, oh, they'll eat almost anything that looks like a smolt pattern that you put in front of their face. So we don't really change our tactics or our techniques too much. Our location, our areas where we look for these fish changes throughout the season though. So at the end of the day, not only do we fish for all 5 species of salmon, char, dollies, grayling, but we also get monster pike and something really unique to the rest of the world, sheefish. There's not a lot of them out there, and we're on one of the best river systems in the north to catch them. So yeah, we can get all your salmon for you. We can get monster pike and something really cool and exotic, monster sheefish. So you gotta check us out. Give us a call and let's chat. There's one, sheefish on. Oh God.